1. Robotics Assemble. All right. Hello. Welcome back to Robotics Assemble podcast. I'm your host, Nikhil Devisetti, and welcome to episode 5. So today we have with us the engineering and mechanical part of our robotics team. So basically, let's introduce everybody, all right? Akhil, you go first. Introduce
So
yourself.
hi, I'm Akhil, and this is my fourth year in robotics. I'm a senior this year, and I'm the mechanical lead for this year.
Yeah. All right, Ethan.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and I'm the drive coach this year. And I have a lot of history in mechanical lead. Or oh my god, I'm dumb. I was the mechanical lead last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm Arvind. I don't actually have like any official position. I'm on the mechanical sub team. This is my second year. I'm a sophomore. I was a freshman last year. I put in a lot of hours last year, so I guess I have a fair bit of experience with how things work. So yeah.
Yeah, so basically today we're just going to be talking about mechanical in general, how it has evolved and like what we're doing right now to really during like COVID times to see how like we're running things here, all right? So like in your guys' opinion, is mechanical doing fine right now during COVID?
I mean,
Do you want
can
the
I go
serious
first?
answer, the real answer, or the halfway answer?
Just give us the real answer.
All
The
right,
real
so
answer,
we're doing it pretty good actually. I think so far, getting people to learn CAD is actually like the easiest part, just because that's the only thing we can do during
Yeah,
COVID. Like, no, we can't just walk into the shop and say, "Yo, let's build a robot." We can't.
yeah.
School is not let us in the shop because one, COVID, and two, we can't access it. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
also I think like it's been going well because normally if we're in the shop, like sometimes we decided like shorten the CAD unit, where like we only like teach for like maybe like a month at max, and then we move on because we think there's so much more to do. So, but like for this, since we're restricted to like virtual learning, so like CAD becomes a big part of mechanical in this sense, and we have a lot more people join in.
Yeah. So I heard you guys give out CAD homework. Is that right?
Well, I don't think it's like necessarily homework. It's more like there's a basic thing that I guess we want everyone in mechanical to know how to do. So, just like not everyone has to be some kind of like CAD god like our director of engineering, but what's it called? Like I feel like everyone in mechanical should at least know how to CAD a little bit and, be able to, let's say if they need to make something or at least design a part that they're working on or implementing, then they should be able to do that. And I think that's something that we really lacked last year. I mean, even for me, like I feel like I wasn't very solid in CAD last year, and I was doing a lot of work designing the intake and stuff. And it would have been useful for me if I had those skills going into it because I could have, designed stuff myself rather than waiting for someone else to like, for me to give ideas and then have someone else design it based on my ideas. It would have went a lot smoother that way. So yeah.
Yeah. So overall, it's been a good experience
And like
for everybody.
as far as like the homeworks go, they're not really like specifically towards CAD. Like the homework in general goes over like basic skills that you need to be in mechanical, like what kind of suppliers we buy from, to like the different types of nuts and bolts that we use, like all the basic mechanical stuff that like we want basically almost everyone to like know about to be successful.
How have people been like reacting to that homework? Because like I know that just like the word homework gives like people PTSD and they're like writhing on the ground, not wanting to do it. So like,
well, it's not like
is this different?
necessarily homework. It's just
All right,
strongly advised. Like,
all
if you
right,
don't do it, what are we
strongly
gonna
advised.
do? Like, come to your
Yeah.
house, knock your doors, like, do your homework? Nah, we can't do that. I don't even know
Yeah,
where half the people live anyways, so, like, even if I wanted to, I can't. But,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
this
it's
this
just
club is based on people having interest in what they're doing, right? Like
yeah.
it's a
yeah,
completely optional thing. So, I mean, if you tell someone that this is going to help them and they don't want to do it, then that's up to them. I mean, what role they're going to play in the future is obviously determined by how much they know. So, it really like I'm sure there are some people who are really invested in doing it. I'm sure that there's some people who, they just could care less. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's kind of what we had like in our meetings, where like we have certain people that are really excited about doing it, and we mostly spend our meeting times trying to like answer questions and like helping people out if they need help. So like there are people that are really enthusiastic or like they actually want to learn about the CAD and like the homework, and they actually like it's not really homework, it's just work that we want them to
Yeah,
sort of get like good at, like it's the basics.
just the basics. Yeah, because it's like with COVID right now, it feels like people are developing on like some skills, right? Like CAD. I feel like this year, all of mechanical is basically going to be like CAD gods, and like we're gonna have our entire robot designed on CAD. We're gonna have like everything, like
For
all the nooks and
once.
crannies. Yeah, and we don't have to
Like,
like, yeah. You're
thing
saying,
Like
is,
Arvind?
with CAD, I can make everything carbon fiber if I wanted to. You don't have stuff in real life that, and you don't have like things to cut carbon fiber with or make
yeah.
it. So like,
Yeah,
For those
yeah,
catathons, we're gonna get those flying robots. They don't even
yeah.
have to make sense physically, but like just carbon fiber, jet engines, whatever we want, right?
like titanium bolts, everything.
Everything just like
the
to
full
the
the full
T to the
package.
max. Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna create like the most expensive robot with like diamond studded rivets.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
there'll be
In CAD.
so many RGBs you won't even be able to see the
Yes.
bot.
Yeah.
RGB bot.
RGB diamonds. What do you mean?
Yes, I'm excited
RGB
about that.
diamonds.
So yeah,
And like
hopefully we can get to that point where most people are able to like CAD well and
Yeah.
comfortably.
and I think a good thing that we did was sort of like move to Onshape, like change of software with CAD, because last year we like did like it was kind of in mix because we tried to do SolidWorks and then we were also doing Adventure and we were also doing some Fusion at the same time because we wanted to get our parts like CNC milled, so we had to do in Fusion. But then like we had some people who were just really good at Adventure, like our director of engineering, and he wanted to really do it on there. And like, but this year when we like all standardized it to like Onshape, it's more useful because like even you don't need to have like a big like setup in order for it like it to work, because it's all web based and you don't need to install like some giant files. So like it works for a lot more people that way, and I feel
Yeah, the
like
thing
that.
about
Yeah, go
SolidWorks, I
ahead.
feel like, is SolidWorks is a really intimidating program, to be honest. You
Yeah.
open up SolidWorks, it's got this like insane UI on the top right of your screen. It's like, do you want to do fluid dynamics simulations? I'm like, bro, I'm trying to cut a piece of wood. I literally just want to make a hole in a block.
Yeah,
so
it's like
so I feel like Onshape is just a much better tool for us to use. It's a lot less intimidating, it's a lot less resource intensive. We're not like last year we had like this weird there was like this point in time where we were like, should we buy laptops for the team
so
so that we just so
Yeah.
that we could do CAD? And that would have been like what, $1,400 just to
that'd
Are you
like
be
sure it
make
was
the
that'd be a
laptops?
lot.
No, I think it was like we were just gonna buy like desktop
No, I'm pretty
PCs
sure
for use.
Karthik, I think our director
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. We
engineering
were
last
trying
year
to buy
wanted to buy
laptops.
laptops last year.
Yeah, we
I
were
thought it was
trying.
Dang.
PCs. Oh well.
All right, laptops, PCs. We're
Yeah,
trying to buy computers to
yeah,
run SolidWorks. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
yeah.
Onshape.
go.
I've used Onshape and I was able to use it effectively. So like, if I can use it, basically anyone on the planet can use it. But yeah, it's a good, and then it's also easier to share stuff, right? You can work on like
Yeah.
Yeah.
documents
Hmm.
together. Yeah, and then it's also free with school accounts. So
Yeah, and I mean
Hmm. Yeah,
it's just as intuitive as SolidWorks, I feel like. Because
and
I
you can
mean,
add custom commands.
yeah,
yeah,
a lot of these CAD softwares are extremely intuitive and they make it really easy to use. Like you don't have to be like some kind of professional to do CAD. Like you kind of just need to go in there. You can watch like 10 tutorials and then you'll be like set basically on what you need to do. At least from like a basic standpoint.
I mean,
yeah.
like even so, like the just general CAD knowledge and Onshape can transfer to other programs. So if you want, like later in life, where you transfer to like Inventor, SolidWorks, the basic concepts are there, but
Yeah.
you can just start with a simpler program, and
Yeah.
it's way easier to use, in my
I mean,
opinion.
yeah. I mean, yeah, CAD is CAD, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna change the dimension tool and all of that stuff. Like all of that stuff is gonna be the same thing. Nobody's
One
gonna have like
centimeter is now 3 centimeters now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying.
yeah, like it's not gonna be like, oh, we don't actually have a dimension tool in this software, or like, oh, you can't extrude anymore. No, 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 no. We don't we don't
We
include
don't
that
do that here.
And Arvind brought up like a good point where like it's less intimidating than SolidWorks, because like, and that's a big reason why people actually like are more interested to do Onshape, because like there's only one like toolbar, and like it's really simple to like use, and it's easy to like find all the stuff, and there's shortcut keys and everything. It's really easy, and it's
Yeah.
less intimidating for newcomers, for example. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because like, and their help documentation is also quite nice because you're able to just like look through everything, and then there's videos. There's like mountains
Yeah.
of text describing everything that it can like a certain tool can do. So like if you're confused, just go to that, and it's easier to use than like SolidWorks is. But SolidWorks, I still would say, is much more powerful than Onshape because it's like an
I
actual
mean, definitely. Like, if you
desktop
want to
Yeah.
app.
run those fluid dynamics simulations, dude, you go ahead. You do
Use
SolidWorks. But
SolidWorks.
Yeah,
like,
you can also do like all the circuit design
yeah.
stuff on there too.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at it like from a usefulness or practicality standpoint, I feel like Onshape does a better job with, again, it uses less resources and it's less intimidating. It's a lot. So
We
I
should
just
get
feel like
sponsored
it's
by
more efficient.
Onshape. We're
Yeah,
vibing
we're
to it
we're
so
really
hard.
we're really vying for them here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Onshape, you're listening to our podcast. Our address is what's the school address?
Our
Yes.
address is
There's a school
It's such a
address and then
high school.
Interlake
yes.
High School. We are a very talented group of young individuals. Glad we are glad to use your product. Please give us money. Thank you.
yes,
Yes.
please.
Please sponsorship us. Yes.
Yeah. Sponsorship us.
So sponsorship us.
Sponsorship us.
But yeah, okay. So basically, we're getting really good at the CAD aspect. How comfortable are you guys in going to like the actual physical aspect with robotics with like the new people, like new freshmen
Like
and
machining?
yeah, machining like bandsaws and like I don't know, drilling and everything like that.
As a bandsaw expert, what I'm gonna
Arvind,
say.
I'm gonna stop
Okay,
you right there.
so
I'm gonna stop you right there.
okay, like if I'm being honest though, since I was a freshman last year, this memory is still like fresh in my head, right? So the thing with machining is, as long as you use your brain and you have common sense, the machines are not very difficult to use. We take safety very seriously on our team, so I mean, all of our freshmen, they all have to pass safety tests before they are able to use any tools and stuff. So I'd say that it's not really that big of a deal like machining, as long as you know what you're doing and you're taught properly, as long as you know use the safe procedures. But being accurate in machining is something that just comes through time. Like, you just have to do it over and over and over again. Like, the first time you use a bandsaw, you're probably going to cut a piece of wood diagonally. 300 times in, you might finally get it straight, because that's just how it is. So I think, like, I don't know, for freshmen going in this year, if they're not able to use any of the tools, then it'll be a real shame, because then for their junior or for their sophomore year, they won't really have much experience, using them.
Yeah,
And
hopefully
like
we're able to like come back and meet, right? And then do
Yeah.
that in practice.
I feel like safety tests, like more than the safety aspect, I'm worried like of how like are they going to be scared to like use tools, for example, like if they're just new. So like we want to like get through that hurdle first, or like we make them comfortable enough, and like, and you can't really do that through remote learning. And the thing is, like as far as safety tests go, it's not just freshmen. Like we make everybody do it, even if you're like been there for like 3 or 4 years, it doesn't matter. We make everybody do safety tests, and not just mechanical. It's like all the engineering sub teams, because you might need to use it at some point. Like if you're control systems and you want to like cut out an e-board, and you might need to like cut a little piece off of it with a bandsaw, you still need to like know how to use the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, like control systems still use like big sharp scissors, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
cut yourself.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, those zip ties can't cut themselves.
this is true, dude.
And they're
We
also
should we
quite
should
sharp once you cut them weirdly.
They should have a bandsaw that just specifically for cutting zip ties, like just
Yes.
a massive machine.
How would you get like you cut the zip ties after it's on something, Arvind?
No. It's
Do you like
necessary.
you put the entire robot on
Just
top
put
of the
it in its
bandsaw
head.
to cut
They
the
just
zip tie?
they need to
Just
make
'cause there's
more
1 centimeter zip
intuitive
tie.
zip tie removing tools. I'm not satisfied with scissors, dude. I'm not satisfied.
Yeah, I
We've
just want
also
to look at the
got
zip tie and just have it cut itself.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
just like breakable zip ties.
Like
right?
electronic zip ties. Like there should be a button on it that I
Yes.
press and then it just removes itself.
I bet those electronic zip ties probably cost like $70 and half our budget on a robot is gonna go to
Hey,
zip
Arvin,
ties.
maybe we
Zip
should try
ties.
catting it. Arvin, maybe we
Yeah,
should try
yeah.
Yeah.
catting
Try
it.
getting it, Arvin. Just a zip tie. You look at it and then it breaks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, don't forget RGB. RGB is super
RGB,
important.
And
RGB,
and it
yeah.
better have like RGB inside of it, so we can
Yeah,
have like
just like
all our zip ties be
Yeah,
RGB.
yeah, just find a way to like stuff RGB like LED strips into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Onshape, if I
Exactly.
cat it, will you sponsor me and build it for me?
Yes.
We
Talking
take
to you,
those.
Onshape.
Yeah. So like let's take a look at now. So what changes have you guys made since like competitions have started? Like or are gonna potentially start in the future? Are you guys focused more on teaching them what our current robot does or like how to like build it or just are you or haven't been
Okay.
doing much of that?
So what we've been focusing on like slowly is me and Karthik like are trying to like find ways we can like put projects in front of us, like have like maybe for example we're trying like a battery cart or like something, so that we can just use the skills that we've sort of been trying to teach for like this far and like try to actually apply them into like a problem to solve, like problem solving situation. And as far as like building a robot goes, Karthik has like we've been going over like how to CAD an entire drivetrain, like a West Coast drivetrain, and we've been like suggesting videos to watch for like people that are interested. And also we've also been trying to start how to like make a gearbox, for example. So we have been trying to start it, but since we've had newer members join in, we've tried to like slow it down for them so we can first like get them started with Onshape and then move on to like bigger projects.
Yeah. So do you guys have any like changes in mind you want to make on the robot?
I mean, I
First and
think
foremost, we need to access the robot. We don't really have
Yeah.
access to the
But are
robot,
you guys
so
I think
planning
off the
anything?
top of my head, the only thing I can think of, which is like one of our failures during competition, last season was the intake breaking, the intake broad breaking and jamming. So back then, that's probably something that we would have fixed immediately before the next competition or something. But since that obviously didn't happen, I feel like that was one of the like that was like one of the only weak points to the robot, and it was our only malfunction, I think, other than comms during the competition. So just implementing a stronger rod or a better way to reinforce the intake so that it doesn't break.
I think the intake is okay. I mean, of course, we're gonna improve it. That's like the main goal of it. But like the intake broke because, as a drive coach, I like I used to pick up balls and shoot them into the goal, and we ran into the wall a couple times. So
Ah, I see. Speaking of
Uh,
worst failures, what is the worst thing that happened to our bots? Like it can be last year or like from 20 years ago.
oh, I have stories. I have a
Oh, I
bunch of
have I
stories.
have one actually.
All right,
It
yeah.
was actually in our first competition this year, where like like since we only had one competition, but that one competition in one of our playoff games, at the end of the playoff game, we jammed into the wall so hard that
Oh.
our intakes inside like the shaft just like completely bent. So like every single time you try to move every time you want to move the intake down, you could like hear like some like something like it seems like the belt is skipping, but actually it's just it's trying to push through the bent shaft.
Oh no.
So we basically are risking burning out, put
Just
it that way.
just
As a
like
member of the pit crew and someone who worked extensively on the intake, I was very disappointed to see my intake broken so gruesomely by our drive team, who insisted on running the bot into the wall without putting the intake up and just smashing that thing down.
Hey
I
man,
it took me about 45 minutes with the other pit crew members to remove the intake and put it back on, not to mention putting the belt back, which was already tensioned. The amount of physical pain that was endured stretching that belt out by hand to try to like wrap it
Tension.
around the gear system, dude. I was mad. I
That
was
was
not happy
painful.
with
Arvind,
that.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
I can tell Ethan like right before that happened, he's like, "All right, guys, I want to make it really difficult on Arvin. Just ram it into the wall. Full
Ran
send it."
straight into the wall.
Hey,
But
balls aren't gonna pick up themselves. The
yes.
intake has to do something. I have to ram into the wall to pick up a ball. It has to be rammed.
Just
Oh
for
yeah, no.
context, this intake, like the rod that we're talking about, is like metal. It's like pure, just like, what is it, steel? I don't know. It's like
I think it's
Yeah,
aluminum.
it was.
It's
Yeah, it was
aluminum,
aluminum.
and it's
Yeah,
pretty thick too.
Yeah, we were planning on changing it to like different material because of that happened during competition.
Yeah,
Like
we
what?
need we were gonna
Carbon
change it
fiber?
to a
Carbon
steel
fiber?
rod just because
Yeah,
that's how much damage that these guys were doing to this. Just
to be fair, we actually pushed through and we somehow won that game. Like I was really impressed with how our drive team did that game.
It's just because our bot is flawless. Okay, even if
Yeah.
it's broken, it still is
Yes,
it's a
even at
The only
90%,
thing-
it's still.
yes.
Other than comms failures and that, I think we had a pretty good run at competition. I mean, I don't know if this counts as a mechanical failure, but there was the reason that we lost that competition or we didn't continue to go on, which was our bot
Okay,
was,
but
I
that's like
think,
a game.
yeah, that
That
was
wasn't like a bot issue. That was
yeah, that was a drive
we got
issue.
debated by the rule. We got debated by the rule book. So
True.
Rip.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean, we
that's
can't
kind of
really
off
help that.
topic, and
Yeah.
that's another day.
Yeah,
We
That's
can't really
another
help
day.
that. That was
I'm
just a
going
Can
to
we-
lucky.
call for like 5 minutes about that one issue.
yeah.
We can
Dude,
talk about
5
it.
minutes, more like 5 years. I'll never forget.
I think I remember this. We were all very excited, and then we just were not.
We were not, no.
I
We
feel
were
like we were
not.
like, yeah.
Because I was
Because
watching it through the
apparently you
live
can't
stream.
use video evidence to overturn calls
Oh
in
no.
FRC, which was really fun. We were having a lot of fun at
And
that
we
point
spent
in
an
time.
hour like just like literally
Yeah.
running around in the pits molding about what happened.
Well, Ethan, you said you had other stories about our robot
Oh yeah,
failures.
this is from past years, right? I think
Yeah,
our
yeah.
freshman year. Akhil, you know this is pretty iconic. Our first competition,
Oh,
so we had like little lifts to carry other robots up so we could get like some power up, right? We tried to carry it, the thing broke mid match. Like it just fell off and we were dragging wires with like two things just flying around.
yeah. Yeah,
By
you
the
know,
end
by
of that competition, we were literally a chassis bot for robot and we were flying down, dude.
we were literally a wooden box running around the field. That's literally what we were reduced to.
On the plus side, we were very fast, you know. Cheers to whoever the driver was
Dude,
that
yeah,
year.
we're just shedding weight. We're just shedding weight, you know?
Yes. We're thinning out the bot.
Yeah.
Were we good at
The bot did
defense at
some
least?
cardio, it came back, dude. It was ready to go.
We managed.
It was-
We managed to have like a 500 record. With like just like running around like a box. Like we managed to have a 500 record.
I
Just
know,
like-
I think sub 500.
So 500. Okay, probably yeah.
Did we break some records on like how fast an FRC bot is?
Probably. We also
FRC
broke the
bot
rules and got a red
ever.
card, so you know.
Oh no! Wait, why do we have a red card?
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure. I remember the elevator getting stuck on the switch or the big
Oh,
like tall thingy.
Yeah, it was like a little
Like
what
a
do you call it,
scale
seesaw
thing?
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I remember
yeah.
we got red card for something else. I can't lose my memory because I erased that
Maybe-
bot from my mind.
Maybe it was from
Yeah.
the shedding of the
Probably.
Not a
weight.
good time.
It's like Voldemort. We don't say its name.
Mm.
Yeah.
You just said it. Come on, man.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Ah. I don't know. I don't really
Good
like
to kill.
That was
Anyways,
so
anyways.
counterintuitive.
It's like Voldemort.
You said it again.
We don't do
He's-
that
he's-
here.
He's dead now. I think we can talk about
Yeah.
Voldemort.
In our Saints Robotics history, we tried to remove that
That
season.
bot, that wretched bot.
Although I give it
Although
credit,
it was a
though,
good
it was a
lesson.
really good-looking bot, and we worked really hard on it. It just didn't live up to expectations.
Oh yeah,
Just
it was
very-
actually a really good looking bot because like we had like it was completely wood, right? It was completely laser cut out of
Was
wood.
that Steam Truck?
And what?
Was
Steam
that
Truck
Steam
was
Truck?
2017. This is
Oh.
before that. I didn't come.
Yeah, yeah.
2018.
This is 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018. We had like it was
I think
completely laser
Professor
cut.
Ash or something.
Yeah,
Professor
no,
Oak.
no, no, Professor Oak. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
screwed
Professor
up.
Oak.
Professor Ash. No,
Is
it's
this
like
the bot
completely.
with
like-
the dunce cap on it? In our
Well,
How
now
does
it
it-
does. Yes.
Now
Now
it
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 has.
does? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it was like completely like wooden, like laser cut, but it was like really good, like CADing, like because we had a CAD sub team back then, like just specifically on CAD, and like we had like really good designs on the robot, and like we actually hand painted like the wings of it. And it
Oh
was
my
a really
god,
cool
I
looking
remember.
bot.
It's like these
Yeah.
sites, was it imagery? I don't remember who spent the time coloring.
Yeah,
coloring the
yeah.
robot. They spent like 10 hours like coloring and sharpening in each
Yeah,
part.
it looked like.
Very expensive.
It looked really good. I mean, I think we still have those wooden panels with the paint on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, those wooden panels are so nice.
Yeah.
It just sucks that the robot couldn't perform, but
Does
life goes
does
on.
Yeah.
the
It's a
do the
learning. It's a
pits
learning step.
count as a mechanical project? Because I can name multiple mechanical failures if the pits are considered mechanical.
Sure, we could talk about pit failures as well if we want to.
Actually, yeah, we should. Because
Yeah.
Arvin's
Because
gonna try to
Arvind has
Alright.
firsthand experience with this.
So
So like,
to get started right here, right? I am the pit sub team. Okay, if the pit sub team didn't exist, it is one person, and that is me.
it's
I'm
just him.
I'm a one man team. I think I spent about 1 million hours working on a single piece of wood.
fair.
I lost I cut myself multiple times.
Just wood chips, right? It's not like
Yeah.
you injuring
Just
Yeah,
yourself.
you
it's
got a
not.
lot
It's
of
not like.
splinters.
Outplay. It's just wood chips.
Yeah, it's like wood
Alright,
chips and
yeah.
like. Yeah. That's basically what
Okay,
it is.
okay. But what's it called? So when we started off, the pits were an absolute disaster. Okay, the pits themselves existing was the mechanical failure. I there was about 300 screws that needed to be put in, probably 150 nuts across 8 wooden triangles that were all falling to pieces, with pieces of wood taped together after being broken off. One time I was trying to navigate through the wooden triangles I'd laid out, and I stepped on one of the triangles, and I broke a piece of the.
Oh my god, is that why it's
It was a
broken?
broken corner. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
broken
one of the
corner.
corners was
It was
broken.
you?
That was me. Yeah.
There was some from beforehand. Too.
No. Some of that. See, I will not take full responsibility for the brokenness of the pits. Okay, I will only take responsibility for what they became afterwards. Okay, anything that happened in the process was just collateral damage, and I cannot be held accountable.
Bro, just trust
Yeah.
the process.
Trust the
Exactly.
process.
So what's it called? After that, right? I spent countless hours designing a makeshift way to support the pits. What I ended up getting was 2 pieces of wood, a thicker piece of wood, and a long screw and 2 nuts that I would screw around, and I would basically attach the thing to, let's say, a chair or something else to keep it standing. That is another mechanical failure, okay? Because that was the worst possible way to secure the pits, making them very wobbly.
So many people were sitting in those
Yeah.
chairs too. They were
Okay,
like,
it was not.
chair.
There's not one moment someone was gonna topple that over. I'm surprised that thing stood up as
That's
long
so
as
true.
it did.
It stood up because I am an engineering god, okay?
Okay, to be fair, they looked really good though. Like if you
Yeah,
just look at it for
so-
the value, like
so-
just
It had
having
RGB,
it looked
dude.
amazing.
Okay, but we did like kind of fix that though, cause like we we laser cut like pieces of I can't
Yeah,
remember
we
what
laser
call
cut
it.
new pieces of wood
Yeah.
to attach to what's it called, but the only problem was the attaching of the broken pieces onto the newer pieces made the shade change, so it was a bit weird. I did my best to try to
okay,
hide
it's just-
all of those pieces and corners
We
and
can
stuff.
just call it like artistic liberties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we took a
RGB.
lot of artistic liberty there.
Yeah.
I took a lot of artistic liberty there.
Yeah, the
Um,
broken pieces are just the
yeah.
part of the.
and
It shows. It
There you
shows
go.
the
It shows
design
that
process.
yeah, it
Exactly.
shows that we were broken once, but we come back. we always come back. We're like
But
Terminator.
to be honest, I think the end result of the pits. I mean, there was a lot of mishaps that happened during the assembly at competition as well. There was a few bolts and nuts, or like what happened was the wood kind of warped, so the screw no longer fit in perfectly and it would just slide through. So I took a piece of a cardboard box, I punctured a hole in the cardboard, and I used the cardboard as a nut as a washer to secure the screw in there and put it into the nut. See, these are just one of the like few
These are, like-
engineering miracles
Can we have
that have
like a
occurred during the
segment
construction
called
of the pit.
It's like Arvind Tech Tips, dude.
Yeah, like,
You know,
Arvind Tech Tips.
yeah. So like setting up the
Arvind
pits
Mech
actually took the
Tips.
most time in the pits, or like during competition. That took the most effort actually, more
yeah,
than like fixing the robot. It was like
yeah.
setting up the pits, man.
Bits.
And it was
Actually, speaking
really
of pits, though,
difficult because when we actually ended up assembling a competition, I actually had more than one person in my sub team, so I had like 3 people who I was trying to direct,
Whoa.
but I didn't even understand what was going on myself, if I'm being honest. See, because the pits were more of a mental construct, you know? They didn't.
It's like you're using Cerebro to like
they
figure out how the pits are looking.
Yeah, they worked in my mind and they kind of just implemented themselves in reality. But you know, when I had to instruct other people on what to do, I became so lost. Like
You just
we assembled
it just goes there.
yeah, we assembled the pits upside down 2 times. 2 times we assembled them upside down and had to change them. I think it took us about 4 hours to finish the pits, and we were only supposed to be there for 3 hours. So,
See, I'm happy because I was part of setting up the pits in like my sophomore and like freshman year, and that was painful. And I'm happy that I didn't have to do it this year because like we completely like kind of redesigned it. Because back then we only had 2 sides to the pits, where like it was the hexagon on one side and like the big giant triangles in the back. And most of the time we would just like zip tie it to like some another triangle on the other side, or like one of the other pits like metal bars or the pillars on the sides. So it wasn't very like sturdy, and I'm just happy that I didn't have to do it this year because it looked like a lot more effort than
I mean,
previous.
yeah, and I think roping through the RGBs into the pits was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. The amount of wrist pain I felt after 3 hours of slowly going like this through little wooden pieces in which there were little wood chips sticking out poking me was it was excruciating.
hey, but it looked good in the end, right?
It,
Yeah, it
it did
looked
look good
good.
That's
in
all
the
that
end.
matters.
It's
I
the
was pretty
effort.
proud of myself. The fact that it stayed standing for 3 whole days made me inexplicably happy. Like
Wow.
it's the fact that it was still standing was a miracle, dude. I don't even know how it worked. I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know
And
how
like
it stayed standing.
yeah, speaking of the RGB, it took so long to actually find the right connections to the RGB lights because we
Oh,
had a
dude.
number of different strips,
And we
like from
had all
different
the
Yeah.
companies.
RGB like
We
Yeah,
had 3 different RGB cables because we had RGBs from before and we didn't want to purchase new ones. So I spent a lot of time trying to sort through the RGBs. I also spent a lot of time bothering Akhil, asking him to solder stuff for me, which ended up not working because the connectors were so small that every time we
oh
tried to
yeah, it
solder,
won't stand.
it would just connect two of the pins together, and we're like, if we turn this on, it's gonna explode. So
I even tried to get other mechanical members to help me, but it's just the fact that it just doesn't work that way because the
yeah.
connector pins were just so tiny that like they would keep falling off like every 2 seconds, and like it just wouldn't work.
Another really scary part, which actually scared me so much, is the fact that I connected multiple LEDs together. So, but the thing is, the adapter that plugs into the wall or USB can only take a certain amount of voltage. So, if someone had actually increased the brightness of the LEDs too much with the remote, all of the LEDs would have blown out. And maybe even started a fire in our completely wooden pits. So
oh
I
I
had to
like how
like
no.
nervous Nikhil looks on the camera, dude. He looks like he's about to like, oh no, what are they gonna do to me?
I had to like guard the remotes to the pits with my life, dude. Like people have been walking over like, no, dude, someone could be walking just to the robot. I'd be like, stay away from the remote, dude. I swear to God, if you touch that, it's done. Everything is over. This
Everything
entire
we
place.
worked for is gone.
And like as
It's
far as
gone.
mechanical goes, like I mean, last year I wasn't the mechanical lead, but like we actually did a good job in like actually somewhat planning the pits before competition because normally we don't do that, and we actually had a good plan in like how everything goes in the pits, and we stuck to the plan relatively well, and we had like good storage space for everybody,
I
for all
feel
the
like
sub
you
teams.
saying we is taking a lot of credit away from me because I'm the only one that
Arvind,
planned the pits.
That's true. Actually, that's
you
true.
planned
But
the
like,
pits,
It's
but like
like
the pits in general, right?
it's like
Not
a
like Arvind's
communist
doing.
thing, right?
I mean,
We
technically the
practice
pits were
communism
already
here.
made.
It's
Like
like our
no, but the
pits.
arrangement wasn't made though.
There you go.
yeah,
Our pits.
our pits,
Our
yes.
pits, yes.
But yeah, like so thinking about last podcast. I don't know if you guys listened to it or not, but we had alumni come in, and then we started talking about how they set up a framework that we use today, like used for last year and then this year. So like, what was the framework left for mechanical, and did you guys like use that? I guess
What do you
so.
I
mean by framework?
Framework. Okay, it's like the alumni have taught us a lot of great things, right? Like for business, they taught people how to like organize everything, or else business would have been a big mess. So like, how have the alumni helped you guys out? Like, be the lead slash mechanical member that you guys are.
Shravin taught me how to grease the swerve wheels.
you sure
That
it was
Nice.
Shravan?
yeah, it was Shravin who taught me how to grease the swerve wheels.
Well, because I wasn't really mechanical last year, so like I can't really speak directly to like thing, but like a certain thing that I did learn like from alumni was like when our directors of engineering like Jack and Olivia, like they taught like when we were putting together the climber for like our sophomore year, and like we had to like build the gearboxes and stuff. Like I actually like learned stuff on like how to actually assemble the gears and how to set up the gearbox and just mount the entire thing onto the robot and stuff. So like I just learned something like that.
If I'm being honest, most of like everything I learned was from our current director of engineering. So he's not like an alumni, but I mean, that's like he basically taught me like most of what I know. I learned a lot from Ethan as well. Ethan taught me how to do most of the machining, and how to handle tools and stuff. So yeah, Ethan is like my mentor.
You
Yes.
son.
Yeah, I can add on to that because yeah, go ahead.
I
Yeah.
was like drilling wrong, and he's like, "No,
No.
that's no."
And like since Arvind mentioned like our director of engineering, like he actually taught me like cause he was my control systems lead when I was in sophomore year, right? And like I basically like took over that role next year, and like he taught me like how to like actually make the order lists, how to like CAD like just CAD that e-board because he feels like we should have CADed the e-board like in our sophomore year, and he thought like we should do that, and it actually helped out really well because we didn't have many connection issues, we didn't have many like I don't know, like issues that we've had in the past with communications and like wires coming out, like motors not getting power or something
Yeah, I
like
feel
that. We
like we
didn't have
did
any
a
of those issues.
phenomenal job. I think Control Systems did a really great job last
Yeah.
year. Nikhil and Akhil, you guys both are like major Control Systems people. So you guys did a really good job last year of, getting the wiring done and like getting it all really clean and working. I mean, we didn't have any problems with that. We didn't have any problems with Swerve like not functioning. We didn't have any of the motors stop working. So I think that was like that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that
I mean, the motor's not working is not like the issue of control systems. It's just the motor itself just died.
we
Yeah,
burnt out a few motors,
yeah.
But
and
yeah,
like yeah.
we focused on that helped a lot. I save motor lives, guys. I'm just saying.
True, true.
Dude,
Zip
zip
ties saves
ties?
lives, just not motor lives.
Yeah,
Can we
Just
just
zip
say that?
ties
Just
save.
just
make a statement.
zip
Yes.
ties are the only reason we made it to competition. I'm telling you right now.
True.
If zip ties did not exist, dude, there would be no team in the first place.
And also like
We should have like a
I
zip
feel
tie
like
shrine. Like we should make a shrine just out of zip ties and like have like a portrait of just a zip tie
In 4K.
in 4K,
yeah,
8K, dude, 8K.
I feel like yeah, like we didn't have many issues last year, and also because like part of it, like a big part of it is just the CAD aspect of it, because we knew exactly like the right spacing between like parts when you put it on the board, and so like things don't get like disconnected, and like we actually CADed out like multiple versions of it, so we knew which version actually fit well, and like. And the mentors, like they mentioned, kept mentioning like cable management, like when because they're running cables around the robot, so like buying like specific like different connectors, like what was it like CAN bus like I can't remember, it's like terminals where
Yeah.
like you would line them up in rows, and so that actually helped maintain the connection securely.
Did you guys like switch like the way you wired stuff too as well? You like went
Yeah,
from just daisy chaining to like CAN buses or something?
well
Yeah.
yeah, we were just like explicitly daisy chaining them in the beginning,
Yeah.
and
And
then
we
yeah.
did this because it's like I think it's a little more straightforward to do it with the CAN bus, and it's also kind of like easier to route them because you don't have to like have all the wires in one area. there's like a set of wires in one place and another set of wires in another place. So if you know something goes wrong, you just like you can easily identify where everything died.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that's like one of the biggest issues we had with 2019 bot is like we spent GG when our comms or I don't know a serve broke or something like 20 an hour or something. We're just trying to find where the broken like wire was because that year's robot was not as cleanly wired as this year's.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and Akhil has taught me that how to cleanly wire in zip tie management and soldering to an extent because soldering is
I
epic.
did not enjoy soldering.
I
I
love
did not
soldering.
enjoy.
It's so nice.
See, I
And then,
had to
Soldering
do
is
it,
like
but like I
building
would always
light.
try to like shift it
Soldering
onto
would be
someone
fun
else.
for me, but I have a tremor in my hand, so basically me soldering
Yeah.
looks like this, and
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, you're not
See,
control system, so you
yeah,
know.
no, no,
I,
I had them help me out with the RGB lighting, and yeah, we had like honestly, because I just didn't want to do it, and
yeah.
I would I would normally just try to like shift it to someone else. Like anybody that wants to do it, please do it. I'll teach you if you need
I
to,
was
but
really
like
the
you can do it.
worst option to shift into though, but I was also the only
Well,
other person interested in actually completing it because it was for the
yeah,
pits.
yeah, because you were responsible for the RGB, so I thought
Yeah.
so you know you wanted to do it.
so yeah,
Actually, before we move on,
yeah.
I do want to mention something. Like Jack and Olivia taught me a lot. When I was because I was mechanically the year before this year, I decided. Uh, I don't know like a mind like a, necessarily like a specific thing off the top of my head, but I remember they did give me like a coin for like build lead or mechanical lead, and just like a cool tradition. I have it somewhere in my drawer, but like it's like passing on their ideas and stuff. So we might not have kept like the wooden theme of a robot as much last or this year and last year, but you know it's like the shift.
And
Gave-
oh, and like specifically the framework thing, like one framework that we did follow is like the whole pit crew thing, where we would have like the two, because we had two director of engineerings last year, and we had like two directors of engineering when Jack and Olivia were there. So what we did was like we would have always have one director of engineering in the pit, and then along with them we would have like certain build members and like certain like just like an even like sort of composition of like all different sub teams in engineering, and like we stuck like to that philosophy sort of, and like if we needed to like have more mechanical members we would like try to like clean the pit out and like have uh relatively less people in the pit sometimes,
Yeah,
but I think
I
the
think we did
framework
a pretty
like
good
was pretty
job
good.
of managing people in the pit. I mean, really, the only people in the pit were people that had experience, a lot of experience working with the bot. So we didn't have anyone that was like kind of just sitting around. We were pretty good with, telling people to go look around or attend other meetings during the competition. That kept our pits nice and clear for when we actually needed to do work on the bot. Like I think when the bot actually malfunctioned with the intake, there was only like 4 people in the pit at that time, because we really only needed 4 people. Because other than that, I mean, our pit space is not very big, so it'll just get crowded and no one's actually going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. So we've like learned a lot from our mentors and alumni and like people who've like just like helped us out. So like what do you guys hope to like help people? Like how do you guys wish to help I don't know, freshmen or like others?
I think
Like for
for
come, I guess.
me, it's probably like the biggest thing that I felt was really lacking last year was like team spirit. Like I was like kind of the spirit captain or whatever during a competition, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes we have a really poor sense of sportsmanship. And as someone who plays a lot of sports, I mean, there's a really important aspect to being a team, and I feel like we lacked that a lot last year. I'm not gonna like name names, be like, oh, this person, but I feel like as a team as a whole, I feel like that's something that we can really work on, like being more communicating better with each other, being more encouraging, not placing blame on others. It's stuff that like, I feel like sometimes it was like a very hostile it could get very hostile very quickly. It's not that like people are like rude to each other, bullying each other. It's just that, a competition is just as intense or more intense than any sports game, and adrenaline is pumping and people get angry. Like it's just it's a normal thing that happens, but I feel like we can definitely work on channeling the energy towards something more positive. I tried my best to give the drive team encouragement, um and stuff like that, but I feel like we could have done better.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like another important thing for us would be like how we in mechanical at least, like we try to like make everyone like super close to each other, like we're all uh we try to treat everyone like family, like we just we don't try to exclude people or like say that even when we make our pit crew schedules, we try to give everybody like an equal shot at like everything. So I think that's something we should keep going like always.
How about you, Ethan?
I think Akhil said what I was gonna say.
Oh.
Unlucky. But yeah, just in general, I I I do like to keep the family aspect of things. Like that's like the biggest part of what keeps me going. Like it's way more fun to do things and win with a group of your buddies, your homies, rather than like just the professional people that you have like a working relationship with. Like, yeah, it's just like our environment where we chill.
Yeah.
Usually. But when things get, when we are going through
Yeah.
competitions, it does get a little heated. But it's just like it's a couple minutes, or not couple minutes. It's just like a short period of time, and we're back
As a
to
freshman
being
last year, I think
boys.
that's what really hooked me onto the club. Like when I first showed up, like everyone was really nice. And I don't know, it just felt like it was a very open environment. Like there was no real like barriers to like, oh, you're a freshman, you can't do this work. No, 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 no. Being a freshman means you get to do all of the work. Like no
I
one
can
will
see
ever
that.
stop you from working. And like I
Yeah.
think that I don't know. It was fun for me. It was a lot of fun. Like I got to like come in every day. I got to use like a bunch of cool tools. Got to just like sometimes I would come and I would just hang out and like
Yeah, it
that's
was a
fine. Like I mean, it was just like it was a fun place to be, and we got to do really cool stuff. And sometimes you don't always have to be productive. Like weekends we would be there for what, like 7 hours a day, dude. You expect
Yeah.
us to be working the entire time?
And
Not to
like
yeah. I
say,
feel like overall, I think robotics has that really good team and like family aspect to it,
mhm.
and I hope that that continues for like eons or
Yeah,
something.
because
I don't
because
know.
that is
Forever.
like that is the ultimate part of robotics. Just coming
Yeah.
in and feeling like you know everyone. Like
Yeah, you know people, you know what they do. You have inside jokes.
yeah,
like and like that gets like a little harder when you're doing online like all the
yeah,
meetings or like where you're trying to connect to people. So but like yeah, we are trying to like ingratiate people and like make people feel comfortable when they come into like a meeting, and like that's why we do all the social gathering like activities as well. Sometimes we try to get people
Yeah.
involved, and so like yeah. And we don't really force like people to commit to come into the club every like meeting or something, because we actually encourage them to take breaks, and like in weekend meetings normally we're super chill. Like we try to do our most like productive work, but at the same time we just try to have fun.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like something that was another thing that we could have improved or we should be improving is I feel like this might be incorporated with that sense of like, being a team. Is just that some people would only show up like 1 day a week or 2 days a week, and some people were just really disinterested in doing work. And I feel like, I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, everyone should be taking the initiative of, showing up and like wanting to do stuff. But I feel like sometimes we just didn't have like tasks for people to do, or we weren't being like super efficient with our manpower, and that caused a lot of people to kind of just like stray away and only show up sometimes. Like we had like 6 or 7 members in mechanical that really just didn't have much to do, and I felt bad about that. Like I felt like there was a lot that needed to get done, but at some point, like since they might have joined a little bit later on, we just didn't have like we didn't have the ability to really like get them caught up and then have them do what we wanted them to do. So we kind of just we left them to their own devices, and that wasn't the best way to handle it.
Like
Yeah, I think
yeah,
like
go ahead,
we're
Ethan.
working on that now.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
since we're
I
Spread
all
the
online,
work.
we just have like our own thing to do, and then everyone can work at their own pace. Well, we
Yeah,
should
so
probably
Yeah.
try fixing it once we get back to like in-person meetings and stuff,
like
because we have a
I
lot
can add
to
on
do.
to that because like I kind of had the similar thing where like in my freshman year, like my first year in the club, and I was in mechanical, and like I didn't show up like as often as I used to like now like in sophomore junior year like because I didn't know like a lot of things that I felt lost sometimes in the club where like I would miss a meeting and I would be like, oh wait, that happened, that happened, that happened, and like, oh okay, I have nothing to do now. It's like so like I can understand that aspect of it, but like when I started like committed myself more in like sophomore and like junior year, I felt like a little bit more connected to the club, and like I actually like knew what was going on more often, and like I was able to like take a bigger like role in robotics. And I think we should like be able to like sort of emphasize that like in online meetings, even if it's online, we should still be like trying to get everybody on the same board.
Yeah, like overall, we have like an idea of what we want to do with our team for like the future, and then that has really been impacted by how we felt throughout like everything, I guess, like what we've been through. So like yeah, it's we have a plan. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We have a plan, and we will try implementing on that. So yeah, I think that's a good ending to our podcast today. So like, thank you guys for joining us, both you guys right here, and also everyone listening. If you guys got this far, and I forgot to say that buy our merch, guys. Go to saintsrobotics.com and then buy our merch. We have some pretty cool merch designed by some alumni, and yeah. And if you have
Uh,
yeah,
Great
Don't
woody flowers.
don't be
Uh,
not cool like me and just wear random hoodies. Wear the Saints
yeah,
Robotics hoodie.
we're the Saints Robotics, not this one, but a Saints Robotics hoodie. So yeah, and if you have anything you guys want to like tell us or like want us to react or want to be part of the podcast, email what is it? Saint Robotics Assemble podcast at saintsrobotics.com.
that's a
And then we
handful.
will
Mhm.
yeah, it's very long, but yeah, email that and then we will take a look and hopefully we can get you on. So yeah, thank you guys so much. So yeah, do you guys want to all right, how do we want to end this? Do you want to say bye or like do you want to say robotics break on 3?
We could say that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever works
okay.
for you
All right,
guys.
we'll do robotics break on 3, okay? 1, 2,
Two,
3.
three.
Robotics
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 break.
break.
break.